Welcome, crypto fam. Cowabunga dudes. We got a lot to share. In today's show, I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 things to watch out for in the Bitcoin market this week, including Bitcoin miners facing a shakeout as one metric warns as the November monthly close looms for the king crypto, and quoting Rich Dad, SBF, FTT, FTX, crypto code for I see stupid people who believe brand name universities can turn polyamorous weirdos into financial geniuses. Big universities are as corrupt as Big Pharma. SBF and Fauci are both power-hungry nerds. Wake up, we are being woked. And quoting Max Kaiser, El Salvador's economy is riding up an escalator while the rest of the world crashes down an elevator shaft. Also in today's show, red alert, AAX Exec leaves the crypto exchange amid ongoing operational halt. That's right, the former executive said his role in the firm became hollow and that the trust in the brand is broken. Also in today's show, FTX collapse drives curiosity around Sam Bankman-Fried. As Google data shows, in November, the crypto community investigated and found SBF guilty of manipulating and misappropriating user funds, ultimately leading to the fall of the empire built around FTX. Also in today's show, Dogecoin jumps a whopping 19.5% after Elon Musk shares a glimpse into Twitter 2.0 plans. I'll be breaking down some Doge, TA, as well as this glimpse into Twitter 2.0. Also in today's show, I'll be sharing with you the worst case scenario for Bitcoin and Ethereum, according to crypto analyst Benjamin Cohen. That's right, the widely followed crypto analyst is outlining what he believes could be the worst case scenarios for the leading two digital assets. And spoiler alert, the Ethereum low is between $400 and $600. Also in today's show, Fundstrat's Thomas Lee says he is still a Bitcoin bull and predicts that crypto firms emerge stronger from this market turmoil. That's right, the hedge fund veteran remains long-term bullish on the king crypto and expects the crypto industry to come out of this bear market stronger than before. We'll also be discussing his $200,000 Bitcoin price prediction, and we'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. I want to welcome everyone just tuning in to today's live stream of Crypto News Alerts. This is podcast episode number 1117, and I'm your host JV, and today is November 28, 2022. And as you can see, we have crypto carnage in the markets right now as Bitcoin is barely holding on to that $16,000 support. So let's dive right into CoinMarketCap. You can see the carnage across the entire crypto sector. We got BNB down a whopping 7%, not even above 300 anymore. XRP down 6%, trading under 38 cents. Ethereum down almost 5%, trading under $1,200. Matic is bleeding as well, and it's not looking so great for the altcoin market at this moment. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, we can see the current market cap sitting at $813 billion with about $47 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. Current Bitcoin dominance back on the rise at 38%, with the Ether dominance at 17.5%. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers for the past 24 hours, Stacks leading the pack, up 4%, trading at 25 cents, followed by Satoshi Vision, up 4%. I'm shocked that Satoshi Vision hasn't gone to zero already, considering it was founded by a fraudster named Craig Wright. But anyways, it's now trading just under $42, followed by ApeCoin, up 2%, trading at $3.97. Below that, we have Phantom, Tether, and then some other stable coins as well. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers for the past week, we do have some nice gains overall for the week after the previous week of carnage. We have CRV up 27%, CELO up 37%, and HT up 24.8%. And checking out one of my favorite indicators, Crypto Greed and Fear Index shows we're currently rated 28 in fear. Yesterday a 26, last week a 21 in extreme fear, and last month a 34 in fear. So there you have it. Welcome once again to everyone tuning into today's live stream. We have lots to cover, so now let's discuss the 5 things to watch out for in the Bitcoin market this week. Let's start with number 1. Bitcoin miners do capitulation. According to analysts, that's right, like others, Bitcoin miners are seeing a major squeeze when it comes to selling accumulated Bitcoin at a profit. It remains to be seen exactly how much financial pain the average miner is in, but one classic metric is preparing to call capitulation once more. Just months after the last such period, the Hash Ribbons is warning that conditions are again becoming unsustainable. That's right, quoting Crypto Quant here. So right now, Bitcoin difficulty is really high for miners, so that means costs are getting higher and doing business in this kind of environment is getting harder. That's why miners do not work in full force. If they have efficient new generation mining machines, they put them into work, but that's all. Inflation is high and people feels effect on those living costs. Bitcoin price is declining, mining costs and difficulty is getting higher, tough environments for miners, which we can see here in the hash ribbons indicator. Now let's discuss our next factor to keep your eyes out on this week in the Bitcoin market. Bitcoin eyes volatility into the monthly close, which is right around the corner. That's right, Bitcoin/USD managed to stave off significantly weak losses at the latest candle close, November 27th, at around 16,000 now at the time of this recording. And as you can see here in the Bitcoin 1-week candle chart, with the lack of volatility characterizing intraday price action, traders and analysts remain cautious about the next step, as they should be. Quoting material indicators, it is a long holiday weekend, so expect things to get interesting as we move towards the weekly and monthly close. He shared, and a subsequent post reiterated that the November 30 close would likely spark fresh volatility, with Bitcoin currently 21% down versus the start of the month. So much for October, you know what I mean? Or Uptember, should I say. This makes November's 2022 Bitcoin's worst November since its previous bear market year in 2018, which we can see here. And on the shorter time frames, we have Crypto Tony, who highlighted the $16,000 as a key zone to flip for the higher levels to enter next, while keeping mindful of the longer term trend. Quoting him here, lower highs, along with consolidating below a major resistance zone. If you want to enter safely, wait for a flip of the lows, he summarized over the weekend. Now, I also want to point out that Crypto Capo is calling for a $12,000 bottom, which is another 40 to 50% drop for altcoins, which would come along with it. Now for the third factor to keep your eyes out on this week in the Bitcoin market. Under the Bitcoin C, hodlers accumulate. That's right, big or small. Population of the Bitcoin ecosystem is right now aggressively adding to its Bitcoin exposure this month, as they should be. Keep stacking them stats. And a positive sign for the future supply squeeze, where demand comes up against a larger portion of illiquid supply. Accumulation appears to be gathering pace. Let's freaking go. According to on-chain analytics firm Glassnode, it is the retail investors mostly responsible for the current trend. The smaller investors, referred to variously as crabs and shrimps, depending on their wallet balance, are increasing in numbers, which you can see in this chart. Bitcoin shrimps showed a Twitter thread about the phenomenon, and the post read, crabs up to 10 BTC have also seen aggressive balance increase of 191,000 BTC over the last 30 days. This is a convincing all-time high, eclipsing the July 2022 peak of 126,000 Bitcoin for the month. That's right. Now for the next flag to keep your eyes out on this week in the Bitcoin market. Woo flags the inbound max pain for Willy Woo, the analyst behind popular statistics resource Wooble. On-chain metrics are pointing to Bitcoin's next macro bottom being imminent, highlighting 3 of them this weekend. Woo showed that for all intents and purposes, Bitcoin is behaving exactly as it did at the pit of the previous bear markets. The portion of the Bitcoin supply held at an unrealized loss, for example, is approaching macro lows, a phenomenon covered by the Max Payne model. Quoting the on-chain analyst here, Bitcoin bottom is getting close under the Max Payne model. Historically, the Bitcoin price reaches macro cycle bottoms when 58 to 61% of the coins are underwater, which we can see in this chart in the orange. Green shading adjusts for the coins locked up inside the grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And continuing, he noted that the MVRV ratio value for Bitcoin is also targeting the buy zone, which has historically given investors maximum profit potential. Now the MVRV is Bitcoin's market cap divided by the realized cap, the aggregate price at which each Bitcoin last moved. The resulting number has delivered the buy and sell zones corresponding to price extremes. Quoting the on-chain analyst again, MVRV ratio is deep inside the value zone. Under the signal, we were already bottoming one until the latest FTX White Swan debacle brought us back into the buy zone, which is number 2. And Woo's third chart, the cumulative value days destroyed, better known as the CVDD, was recently also covered. Quoting him here, use these charts at your own discretion. We are in an unprecedented time of deleveraging, he added, cautioning that past cycles do not necessarily reflect future ones. Now for the 5th and final factor to keep your eyes out on this week in the Bitcoin market, and that's the macro mood rocked by China protests. That's right, some key economic data from the US is due this week, but crypto analysts are more focused on China with an already fragile status quo hanging on inflation trends. Unrest in the world's factories could unsettle the market performance. Some warn China is in a grip of wave of protests against the government's policy on Novid, with multiple cities defying lockdowns to demand the end of Novid Zero. Well, more power to them, right? We got to stand up against this tyranny. With this in mind, risk assets could be in for a rough ride if the situation spirals out of control. Quoting Mikhail Bendepop, crucial area of Bitcoin couldn't break, so we're still consolidating within that range and on support right now. If this is lost, I'd expect new lows to be seen on the markets, probably depending upon China and the FTX contagion this week. And even mainstream media were warning of potential repercussions on the day, with John Toro, head of trading at Exchange Independent Reserve, telling Bloomberg that elevated contagion risk is being profiled into the crypto complex. Meanwhile, Asia stock markets were modestly down on the day, with Hong Kong's Hang Seng and Shanghai Composite Index down 1.6% and 0.75% respectively. And now for the bonus factor to watch out for this week, Bitcoin bottoms and crude oil. That's right. On a related macro note, Bitcoin is now on the line for outperformance in US dollar terms. One well-known analyst has shared in WTI crude oil terms, the Bitcoin price action is already at a macro low. And if history calls for a resurgence, which includes a significant appreciation trend against USD, we are finally at the bottom channel. TechDev confirmed over the weekend, quoting him here, Bitcoin's crude oil energy purchasing power topped in April 2021, now looks poised for another leg of outperformance and rise in USD value. So there you have it. And now for an infamous quote from the one and only real Robert Kiyosaki, SBF, FTT, and FTX, talking about Sam Bankman-Fried, their native token of FTX, which was FTT, and the exchange itself is a crypto code for I see stupid people who believe brand name universities can turn polyamorous weirdos into financial geniuses. Big universities are as corrupt as Big Pharma. SBF and Fauci are both power-hungry nerds. Wake up, we're being woked. Preach, and shout out to Rich Dad. And quoting the one and only Max Kaiser, El Salvador's economy is riding up as up the escalator while the rest of the world crashes down the elevator shaft. Tell him how you really feel, Max. But with that being shared, what are your thoughts surrounding the short-term price action for the King Crypto? Do you think we're likely to hit lower lows, as the current low for this cycle is 15,500? Or do you think we'll hold strong? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. Keeping in mind, we're only roughly around 600 shy of the current low, so we can witness lower lows at any time at this current session in the market. Anything can happen, so just be prepared. And with that being shared, now let's discuss a red alert of a crypto exchange I'm stressing extreme caution with right now. If you have any of your crypto on AAX, be sure to remove it ASAP. And here's why. Weeks after the AAX exchange started halting its withdrawals, its vice president for global marketing and communications announced that it has resigned from his role at the crypto exchange, which is a red flag anytime you see a head or a CEO or executive resigning from a major role at a crypto exchange. In the Twitter thread, his name's Ben Caselin. He confirmed that he has left the firm and highlighted reasons as to why he decided to leave his post at the crypto exchange. According to Caselin, despite his efforts and fighting for the community, the initiatives that they came up with were not accepted. The executive described that his role in communications became hollow. The former AAX exec also expressed his disagreement with the way that AAX is handling the issue. Caselin described the actions of the exchange as without empathy and overly opaque. And in the midst of the withdrawal halt, that's right, they've already halted all withdrawals as of last week. The former executive also highlighted that many people, including some of his own family members, have asked him for help. However, Caselin wrote that there was nothing he can do at the moment and that everyone is waiting for actions from the exchange. Just another reason to self-custody, right? Despite the current situation, the former AAX executive believes that things will be handled without evil intentions, but noted that the damage is already done. The brand is no more and trust is broken. That's right, the genie is out of the bottle. On November 14th, the AAX exchange started to halt withdrawals, citing a need to fix a glitch on its system upgrade. The exchange assured its community that the halt in withdrawals had nothing to do with the ongoing FTX collapse and said they have no financial exposure to the embattled FTX exchange. But after the announcement, the AAX team highlighted that it needs additional capital because its investors have decided to withdraw their funds from AAX because of the FTX collapse, which they should, right? Precaution. caution. The exchange explained that this puts them at a risk of a capital deficit, which they have to fix before resuming normal operations. So there you have it. I don't know how many of you have ever used this crypto exchange. Let me know if you've even ever heard of it, AAX. I've personally never used it before, thank God, but it seems that this contagion from the FTX fallout of one of the largest cryptos exchanges in the world is affecting all of these other exchanges, kind of like a domino effect. It's shocking to see, but this is the reality, and yet another reason to self-custody your precious crypto funds. With that being shared, now let's dive into the latest of what's happening with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. I actually watched BitBoy's live stream yesterday. How many of you watched it? Let me know in the comments. And he was actually with a guy from the Bahamas who was running for prime minister, and they discussed a lot of the corruption, and the Bahamian government do not want this. You know what I mean? It makes them look bad, like they're welcoming fraudsters into their country. So they want to do something about this. Obviously, the entire crypto community wants to do something about this and not let this go, as the media and politicians and the SEC is using Bankman-Fried as a scapegoat to achieve their political agenda, which is corruption at its finest. But with that being shared, here's what's going on right now. The fall of FTX seemingly had the biggest impact on the crypto ecosystem, as Google searches for their CEO, Scam Bankman-Fried, hit the roof over November 2022. Some of the biggest drivers for this trend includes mainstream media attention, colossal losses, as well as political ties. That's right, November 2nd, Bankman-Fried lost his credibility after his company Alameda Research was found holding a large amount of FTX token, better known as FTT, currently trading at only $1.29. Ouch. An asset issued by FTX. And over the following 2 weeks, the crypto community investigated and found Sam Bankman-Fried guilty of manipulating and misappropriating user funds, ultimately leading to the fall of the empire of roughly 130 companies built by SBF. And on one hand, the crypto community openly criticized Scam Bankman-Fried and his accomplices, including Caroline Ellison. But on the other hand, mainstream media published puff pieces to water down Bankman-Fried's wrongdoings, which Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Binance CEO CZ, amongst others, called out. Good for them. They should. The blatant attempts by the mainstream media to change the narrative around SBF saw massive resistance from crypto Twitter. That's right. And fueling the curiosity and forcing the general public to do their own research about the subject. And as a result, Google searches for the term Scam Bankman-Fried for now on instead of Sam Bankman-Fried, right? They surged in November, and the curiosity around Sam Bankman-Fried overpowered other infamous personalities in the space, including co-founder and CEO of Terraform Labs, Do Kwon, co-founder and CEO of Three Arrows Capital, Suzu, as well as Satoshi Nakamoto impersonator, Craig Wright. Now, Google Trends data shows that searches for SBF are 185.7% more than they were for Do Kwon when Terra collapsed in May of 2022. The collapse of Terra was considered the biggest blunder in crypto history until Scam Bankman-Fried took the spot 6 months later. Congratulations to the Afrocentric, altruist, faker, and fake vegan. Now, the FTX dust is far from settling as Turkey's Financial Crimes Investigation Board, MASAK, seized Bankman-Fried's assets amid ongoing investigations. The seizure was made after finding criminal suspicion of FTX failing to safely store user funds, embezzlement of customer assets, as well as market manipulation. So there you have it. What are your thoughts surrounding the corruption surrounding FTX and literally over 1 million crypto investors from all around the world being scammed by Scam Bankman-Fried? Bankman, that's the name the banksters gave to him. Ironic, wouldn't you think? But do you think he'll likely have to serve any jail time, or do you think he'll just get a little slap on the wrist and be free? Because right now he's roaming the Bahamas in his penthouse, living the luxury life. Him and his family purchased up over $131 million in real estate that they can account for just in the Bahamas alone, which was not included in their bankruptcy filings. Also, mass properties in Dubai are being unveiled as well, as this smells scam all over it. If you can't see the obvious with the painting on the wall, I don't know what to tell you, but don't expect the lamestream media to preach the truth, as they're putting out puff pieces trying to protect him, because they're trying to protect the criminals higher up involved in this scandal, including the SEC, CFTC, and the list goes on and on. But with that being shared, now let's discuss why in the world is Dogecoin pumping. Yesterday it pumped literally 20%. And I was like, oh my God, why is this pumping? Well, now we know the reason why, thanks to Elon Musk. Lo and behold, the billionaire entrepreneur, Elon has confirmed he intends to integrate payments into what he describes as Twitter 2.0, the everything app, fueling a short-lived, almost 20% price surge for the meme-inspired crypto Dogecoin, as they say. Every dog has his day. That day was yesterday for Doge. The new Twitter CEO revealed his plans in a November 27 tweet to his 120,000 million followers, in which he shared several slides from a recent Twitter company talk. Now, when you have 120 million Twitter followers, it doesn't take much to pump any cryptocurrency, hence why we just saw this massive 20% pump. And as he shares here, slides from my Twitter company talk. Now, while Musk made no mention of Doge in the tweet, and it still pumped 20%, or in the attached slides, this didn't appear to stop some investors from being hopeful that Dogecoin would be involved in some way. Just imagine if he said Dogecoin was being involved in a major way in this Twitter 2.0. I bet you Doge probably would have jumped 50 to 100%. Insanity, if you're to ask me. Someone asked here, payments in Dogecoin, and tagged Elon Musk, and I don't think they got a response. But according to data from CoinGecko, Dogecoin's price surged 19.4% from 8.9 cents to over 10 cents over several hours after the tweet, before cooling off at around 9.6 cents at the time of this recording. Other plans listed as part of Musk's vision for Twitter 2.0, including advertising as entertainment, video, encrypted DMs, and long-form tweets, and relaunch Blue Verified. Data from the slides also suggests that Musk's takeover of the company has already made an impact, with the social media platform reaching an all-time high in terms of new user signups and user active minutes, which were up 86% and 30% respectively over the last week in comparison to the same 7-day period in 2021. How many of you like the new Twitter since Elon has taken over? Let me know yay or nay in the comments below. Personally, I like it because I'm all for free speech, and he brought back a lot of people who have been unfortunately ghosted from the platform. People like Andrew Tate, which, I'm all for free speech. In October, rumors surfaced of Twitter's crypto wallet plans after popular tech blogger Jane Manchun Wong speculated in an October 27 tweet that the company had already begun working on wallet prototypes that support crypto deposits and withdrawals, which led Doge price surge at 40% at the time. And also Lior Yaf, the co-founder of Switzerland-based blockchain software company Yal Yurida, told Cointelegraph that even if Musk were to integrate Dogecoin onto Twitter, it wouldn't be a wise decision, as they stress here. Even if they do manage to build a payment system around Twitter, there are much better blockchain solutions than Dogecoin to choose from with regards to security, privacy, smart contracts, and scaling. Talk about Bitcoin, right? And Daniel Elsaway, CEO and co-founder of the decentralized exchange TideFi, recently shared that while the integration is possible, its utility on Twitter would be strictly limited to payments. As he shares here, given that Doge cannot directly interact with smart contracts as part of its original design, I would say that unless it's specifically used as an option for payment, the use cases associated will continue to remain speculative. So there you have it. What are your thoughts overall surrounding the Elon takeover of Twitter? Do you think this is for the good of the crypto community? Holla at your boy in the comments right down below. And now let's discuss some worst case scenarios for the top 2 cryptos by market cap, which include Bitcoin as well as Ethereum, as per crypto analyst Benjamin Cohen. The widely followed crypto analyst is outlining what he believes could be the worst case scenarios for the leading 2 digital assets. In a new interview with Altcoin Daily, crypto strategist Benjamin Cohen says that macroeconomic headwinds could drive Bitcoin and Ethereum to fresh bear market lows. And looking at Ethereum first, Cohen predicts that Ethereum could lose as much as 65% of its current value of its price today of around $1,175. As he shares here, the worst case scenario would be dependent on how bad this potential recession ends up being. It is hard to know exactly how that's going to affect crypto, but I would say for Ethereum, the main levels I am watching are the $400 to $600 range. Now, could you imagine picking up Ethereum at $400? Like, whoa, he continues. I don't know if it's going to go all the way down to 400, but I do think a $600 ETH is potentially in the cards, mainly because I think there is a lot of evidence to suggest that it's about one cycle behind Bitcoin in terms of volatility. ETH's first cycle was a solid 95% bear market, and Bitcoin's first bear market was 94%. Bitcoin's second bear market was around 87%. So if Ethereum goes down 87% from its all-time high, or even 88%, that's going to put it at just below below $600. So I think there is a case to be made that Ethereum could have this final capitulation down into the $400,000 to $600,000 range. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst. And the popular analyst also goes on to present what he feels could be the worst case scenario for the king crypto by market cap, adding that he doesn't think it'll be hit as hard as the alts. Quoting him here, I don't think Bitcoin has to drop nearly as much as some of these altcoins to actually find its bottom. The main indicators that I am still looking at is that it still needs to trigger are these things like Bitcoin normally has a daily close. Below is balance price. Right now, the balance price is right at $15,000. So that would tend to make me think we need to go below $15,000 at some point. And Bitcoin's balance price is a model that attempts to capture the fair value of the king crypto by measuring the difference between Bitcoin's realized price and transferred price. And to watch this video that Benjamin Cohen did entitled Worst Case Scenario for Bitcoin and Ethereum, I am scared. Check the show notes below the video in the description. And what are your thoughts surrounding those worst case scenarios? Are you in agreement? And also, in a previous episode a couple of days ago, I shared a potential Bitcoin bottom worst case scenario from another analyst who said we can potentially drop all the way down to $6,000 for the king crypto. So a worst case scenario for Ethereum could be $400 to $600, and for Bitcoin can potentially be as low as $6,000. So be prepared. And with that being shared, now let's dive into the story we have all been waiting for and discuss the latest with Tom Lee, who is the actual creator of Litecoin, and his prediction as last year in the end of 2021, he came out and said he was convinced that Bitcoin would hit $200,000 sometime in 2022. Now, obviously, that did not come to fruition, but nonetheless, let's see what the latest has to be shared by the one and only Thomas Lee of Fundstrat. So here we go. Hedge fund veteran Tom Lee remains long-term bullish on Bitcoin and expects the crypto industry to come out of this bear market stronger than ever before. Let's go. In a new interview on CNBC, Fundstrat managing partner says that while 2022 has been terrible for crypto investors, he still thinks a new chapter could be emerging. Quoting him here, nobody has made money in crypto in 2022, but it's not that different than 2018. If we look back at the crypto winter, when Bitcoin went from $17,000 to something like $3,200 or so, that was the time that some of the best projects were created. So I think that's an important moment for the industry. I think it is the cleansing of a lot of bad players, and I think it's important. Do I think crypto is dead? No. Do I think a lot of people are just throwing gasoline in a crowded theater and yelling fire? Yeah. And it's just going to be important for those who really like what decentralization and what Bitcoin are doing. They need to have the staying power. But yeah, 2022 has been terrible. Preach. Now, Lee compares today's crypto space to the traditional financial sector of 2008, where many firms imploded during the crisis before giving away to stronger entities. As he shares here, we first read about Bitcoin in 2017, and we recommended people put 1% of their funds into Bitcoin at the time when Bitcoin was under $1,000. That holding today would be 40% of their portfolio without rebalancing. So does Bitcoin still make sense for someone to have some sort of ballast? Yes. Is it going to have another terrible year next? I think if there is more fraud, yes. But if this was the moment of financial stress that we are going to see emerge from this, the companies that emerged from the great financial crisis, the ascendancy of banks like JP Morgan really came out of '08. And I think the mistake people made in the great financial crisis is to say that banks were untouchable, and that's what's happening right now in crypto. And to watch this recent video he did on CNBC, check the show notes below the video in the description. And now for his $200,000 price prediction he was calling for last year. Let's share this, shall we? Check this out. So the Permabull predicted Bitcoin would hit 200,000 this year in last December of 2021. And back then, Fundstrat analysts described that target as achievable, forecasting that 2022 would be a good year for the largest cryptocurrency. But lo and behold, 2022 was in fact one of the worst years for the cryptocurrency in this crypto winter. But I think there were a lot of black swan events many weren't anticipating. I mean, how many were calling for the fall of FTX last year? Nobody. How many were calling for the fall of Terra and, their stable coin, or I should say not so stable coin, Three Arrows Capital, Voyager, BlockFi, and the list goes on and on. Literally hundreds and hundreds of companies being impacted by this contagion. So I think it caught Tom Lee and many analysts off guard. But who is to say that we can't still realistically reach a $200,000 target here in the near future? Potentially, I mean, can it happen next year? Anything is possible. Is it probable? Probably not. But I think after the halving personally in 2024, we can realistically see a six-figure Bitcoin price. I also like to throw out there that the stock flow model predicts a $100,000 plus Bitcoin price between 2024 and 2025. Credible Crypto is calling for $150,000 Bitcoin price in 2023. We also have Max Kaiser calling for $222,000 or $220,000 as well. And then we also have Samson Mao calling for a six-figure Bitcoin price next year. We have Tim Draper calling for a $250,000 Bitcoin price by the second quarter of 2023. So there's still many bullish predictions out there. It's very unfortunate we didn't have that bullish, crazy year for 2022. But hey, we're in crypto winter. It is what it is. But the prospects of the future is looking optimistic, if you're to ask me. So with that being shared, what are your thoughts surrounding Tom Lee's $200,000 Bitcoin price prediction? And by what year do you think this will turn into fruition? Let me know in the comments right down below. And with that being shared, now let's dive into my favorite segment of the live show, which is the live Q&A, where you can literally ask me anything. And shout out to everyone in the live chat. Tough Cookie, what's good? Chuck Strickland, always a pleasure. Matthew C, Tom T, Bitbud, good to see you, fam. Helen, Ellen, Jeff S, Frankie V, Matthew in the building, Dragon Flower, Chris Minka, Bitcoin Cow, that's what's good. It's good to see you all. Yeah, I'm going to start reading out some of the comments here. You can literally ask me anything you'd like to ask. Matthew says, send it, JV. I am catching every falling knife until fall of 2024. Keep stacking those stats, fam. Helen says, check his latest live stream. Yeah, check it out. Conta says, I have been a subscriber for almost a year. I have started my own channel documenting my climb out of debt. Well, congratulations, fam. I'm happy to hear that. Frank says, Shiba Inu to the moon and maybe Mars. He is trolling y'all in here. Steve says, get 2 straws to slurp up the blood in the streets, coming to a market near you soon. It does feel like that. I mean, this crypto carnage is absolutely insanity, to say the least. And yeah, Frank says, I am just joking. I don't invest in meme coins. That's right. And I read an article the other day that said all of those meme coin market caps are going to flow into XRP after XRP achieves a victory versus the SEC, which would be great news for Frankie V and for XRP holders, as well as the entire crypto industry. Good morning, everyone just tuning in. Good to see you. Pablo Emilio, welcome, fam. Tough Cookie says limit buys in, dollar cost average every day, and RIP off the Band-Aid. That's right. Matthew says, that's what's up. I catch every falling knife until summer 2024. Rick Law says, I think all the shills got their money out, though. That's what's important. Bitbud says, no new all-time high for the S&P and NASDAQ for 10 to 15 years. Let's discuss that. Why do you think that is likely to be? Do you think they just got way too much money in them too fast? Didn't we have like an upside in the S&P for how many years or decades has it been? So we have reached the top, is what Bitbud is saying. Welcome, welcome. Yes, my family guys, yields at an all-time 2022 year low. That's right. Dragonflower says, I'm at the point where I'm writing down everything Bitbud says as gospel. Let's touch upon that. Back when Bitcoin was at an all-time high of roughly 69,000 in November of last year, Bitbud said, watch out, guys, because Bitcoin is likely to correct immensely. And Bitbud was calling for like $10,000 Bitcoin back at this time last year when nobody was that bearish. So we got to respect and give a shout out to Bitbud, as a lot of his calls have come to fruition. And that's why Bitbud is now officially a moderator here within the live chat. So shout out to Bitbud. Yeah, man. Max Kaiser Sublime says, Helen, I agree. Shout out to Max and Stacy Herbert. Mikey likes this, says, great live vid. Balance after all this FTX, etc. Evil actors are swept away. Bullish, got to get rid of the robbers from the system. Exactly. Helen says we are going to $12,000. I would not be shocked to see a $12,000 low for this cycle. I mean, literally anything is possible, considering we've already dropped down from 69,000. We've already hit a low of 15.5. So what's another, $5,000 or $4,000 from here? Matthew says, get low, get low. I'll stay stacking stats. Dragon Flower, yeah, welcome as well. Helen says, "Bud, watch Traders Reality. He's brilliant." Yeah, shout out to Traders Reality. Great technical analyst, and I appreciate Helen for putting me on to him. Tom says, "Serious people, Michael Saylor and Cathie Wood." Yeah, I mean, look at the smart money. Michael Saylor, Cathie Wood, and El Salvador, the country itself, with purchasing a Bitcoin every day, they couldn't be more bullish to take advantage of prices like this. I bet you even them weren't anticipating lows this low. So yeah, seize the moment. Matthew says, "My opinion, buy, sell on Binance or Coinbase and self-custody on the Ledger or Trezor, if not buying or selling." Sage advice. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me to, if you're going to be trading, you need to use a crypto exchange. I guess the decision, do I use a decentralized exchange like 1inch or what are the other ones out there? There's quite a few. Or do I use a centralized exchange? I think the best centralized exchange at the moment, like a big one you can trust, is Binance, and there's a few reasons I prefer it over Coinbase. They have the lowest fees. They have free Bitcoin trading on the most popular pairs such as stablecoins. That's a pretty big deal. And if it's not the most popular trading pair, it's still like half the trading fee you would get charged using Coinbase. It's even cheaper than the subscription model of Coinbase, which is Coinbase One. And I know this because I studied it looking for which is the cheapest, safest, most effective centralized crypto exchange. And at that moment, which was last week, it was Binance by a long shot. Their fees are much lower than Coinbase, and Coinbase is also very confusing. Even their advanced platform doesn't clearly specify the fees between the maker and the taker, so it's a little and also they can add additional fees you don't even know about. So if you're going to trade on a centralized exchange, do it on Binance would probably make the most sense. However, that doesn't mean give them your full trust and custody on Binance. Custody only, self-custody in a hard cold storage wallet, because you can't trust any exchange. And I'd hate to see anyone lose their precious crypto because you put all of your faith in a third-party centralized entity. The entire purpose behind Bitcoin and many cryptocurrencies is the fact you can use it without any third-party trust. So when you have to use a third-party custodian, you're now trusting a human being, which could be corrupted. It is what it is. But yo, be safe. Put your crypto on a cold wallet. So thank you for sharing that, Matthew. Bitbus says, "Tom T, yes, I like an open mind and all good technical analysis, just not hopium on the tarot cards." Hopium, tarot cards, and TA, Bitbud. That's right. As Max Kaiser once said, technical analysis is astrology for men, and we're not knocking astrology. It just is what it is. Crypto men, we love this TA. Matthew says TA is great, but if regulation gets passed, all those models get smashed. Make a great point. We cannot trust the regulators because who's regulating the regulators? All we got is BitBoy, the only one regulating the regulators right now. Chris says, as FBS goes free, why would anyone think XRP will win? That's a great question. I mean, obviously the SEC is corrupt AF, which means as what? Dragonflower says, will BlockFi cause more of a market drawdown? Potentially. But I think the prices have already been factored in with the announcements from the previous week. So I don't think that that announcement specifically is going to particularly make things a lot worse, but obviously it doesn't help. Tough Cookie says the corruption is everywhere. Keep fighting. 100%. Don Drake says truth. Thank you, JV. You are very welcome, Don. I appreciate you. Matthew says maybe Bitbud. How did it work with gold in 2004? Asking honestly, gold did a 4x in 7 years after being around for hundreds of years. Dragonflower confirmed that BlockFi entered Chapter 11 as of today. I saw it was announced as well on crypto Twitter. I'm going to place some 10,000 orders. I don't blame you. Dragonflower sees the moment. Tom says, I don't know if Elon makes Doge his Twitter coin, but it could become something serious. Yeah, I mean, with 120 million followers listening and following everything you do, you're damn right. Anything that he tweets is going to blow up. If he makes a pro-Bitcoin tweet, I guarantee you Bitcoin is going to soar. Unfortunately, he's doing it with meme coins such as Dogecoin. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Free speech, yes, we need to protect it. Agreed. Tom says, I don't know, Ellen. I'm not betting against Elon. I stopped doing social media a while back. It's poison, says Bitcoin Cal. I don't blame you. Bitbud says, Helen, I am betting on it. Plus, if he makes a smartphone and gives Doge, users will take off. I have 10,000 in Doge. Well, good to hear, Bitbud. And that was actually an interesting discussion that Elon shared on Twitter the other day. Someone asked him, what if the Apple Store bans the Twitter app because they don't want to, have free speech going on here? They want to make it as difficult as possible. And he said, well, I'll just have to invent my own phone, which he said he would literally do. Now, that would be ironic if it had to come to that, but it wouldn't be shocking considering how evil and corrupted Google, Apple, and the powers that be truly are. You feel me? Let's see who else we have here. Gonna flip the Matrix the next bull run, or flip your Matic. Matthew C is asking Cal. Matic has been pretty bullish for this cycle, even during this crypto winter. We've still seen some pretty substantial pumps due to their partnerships and real-world use cases. And for those of you not familiar with Matic, it is a layer 2 scaling solution for the Ethereum blockchain, and it's much needed as the gas fees on Ethereum are still insane and outrageous, to say the least. Dragon says, I am hoping for a $5 to $6 Solana. How many of you are bullish on Solana? Solana was once, like, if I'm not mistaken, $400 or $500 per coin. Insanity. I remember earlier this year it was still, over $200. And then, like, right now it's what, $11? And that's because, unfortunately, FTX was the primary holder of Solana, and they were pumping this, which is the reason it got to the market cap it got to in the first place. So many analysts are expecting it to collapse along with FTX. Consulting my magic 8-ball, says Jeff. Tom says, I think Tesla is still a good investment, but I think Bitcoin is even better without the risk. Preach. Bitbuzz says, only like 5 survived the top .com era, making a great point there. Dragon says 260 per coin. Matthew says, Crypto News Alerts fam is kicking. That's right. I greatly appreciate all the continued support. And the greatest thing you can do to help support the show is smash the like as if it's Sam Bankman-Fried's face itself. Make sure you turn on all notifications and just make sure you subscribe to the channel. And obviously comments help out tremendously as well. Strickland says Solana to $5. That would be insane. Matthew says down 94% with super high rate of adoption. Matthew, Solana, and Matic might have the most upside in the next bull run. Telengard, what's kicking fam, says I have been trading Solana high volatility. That can keep the coins alive. Seems that way. Steve says letting Solana pump up a bit and dumping it for better investments. And Cal says perhaps long term for Solana, a very long time. Touche. And Helen says I love Binance. Yeah. Facts. Binance is superior to Coinbase, and obviously they have Binance US for those here in the United States, which is a limited version of the global Binance exchange, which gives you a lot more options. Due to regulations and such, they separate that. But with that being shared, now let's do the big recap. Who is new? If you are still here, you may have made it. That's right. If you have survived this crypto winter this long, you're not going anywhere. You're here for the long haul. So congratulations, my crypto fam. With that being shared, now for the big finish, which is a recap of what I shared with you here in today's show. We discussed the 5 things to watch out for in the Bitcoin market this week, including Bitcoin miners facing a shakeout, as one metric warns as the monthly close for November comes to a close for the King Crypto. Also shared an update from Kiyosaki and Max Kaiser. Very powerful quotes. We also discussed the AAX executive leaving the crypto exchange amid the ongoing operational halt. They froze withdrawals, so just a red alert to remove all of your crypto. If you haven't already, it may even be too late at this point, but it's important to point this out. And many other centralized exchanges are likely also to go under from this contagion, so move your crypto off the exchanges and into cold custody storage, or forever hold your peace. Also in today's show, we discussed the latest with the FTX collapse, driving curiosity around scam Bankman-Fried, according to the latest Google data. And we also discussed Dogecoin and why it jumped literally 20% just yesterday. And that was due to Elon's plans of Twitter 2.0, which he rolled out without even sharing the word Doge, it still jumped literally 20%. Also in today's show, I shared with you the worst case scenario for Bitcoin and Ethereum, according to the crypto analyst Benjamin Cohen, who's calling for a worst case scenario Ethereum between $400 and $600, and said that Bitcoin is likely to reach under 15,000 for the low. Also in today's show, we discuss Fundstrat Tom Lee saying he's still a Bitcoin bull, predicting crypto firms will emerge stronger from the market turmoil. And also we discussed his $200,000 Bitcoin price prediction, which has yet to come to fruition. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next?